Over on the blue side, we have Razman and Nandemann, who are Nandemann. And over on the red side, we have Hunter and Random, who are WTF into space. So this is Gunboat Diplomacy, and are you ready, Val?
I am ready, yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. So, what decks are we looking at?
Right, so on the side of Razman and Nande, we have a Commonwealth deck for Nande and a blue for motorized deck for. Sorry, the other way around. A Commonwealth for Razman and a blue for motorized for Nande. And Hunter has a Soviet deck, I believe that is. Oh wait, no, I'm completely incorrect. Wrong deck. Commonwealth deck. He has a Commonwealth deck. And Random has a, I believe, General Blue. I'm mistaken again. It's actually German.
Well,
I
either way,
apologise,
it doesn't
by the way.
look like it matters because
yeah.
it's a Dutch-German deck because they've got the
AH-64
escorts.
Oh, it is. Yeah, no, you're right. That's why it doesn't have a little a symbol on this thing because the program wasn't updated.
Here we go, guys. It looks like there's going to be another heli rush.
I'm just gonna turn my screen around and look at some mountains for a while. Try and cleanse my mind from this.
So, if you guys aren't currently aware of the situation, this is a best of 3, and in the first game, Hunter and Random, WTF into space, did heli rush Razman and Nandemann, who are Nandemann, and took that first game in about 3 minutes after it started. Whereas the second game, it was hard fought, both sides fought very well, and Razman and Nandemann came out on top to make it 1-1. Now we're moving into the third and final game of the best of 3. Whoever wins this moves on to the final. And this is a difference between $60 and at least $130. So it looks like Hunter and Random are going for the cheese, and you can't really blame them. It's a lot of money. And
I can, scumbags.
and we are going to see the new units come out, which is very cool. I'm glad to see a bit of diversity in this heli rush.
Diversity in the heli rush.
They're bringing out the AH-64 escorts, which are the new Dutch helicopters, and they also had an AH-64 TD for a little while. It doesn't look like they're going to be paying for one of those anymore, though. And yeah, well, over on the left side, we have Nandemann, who looks completely unaware, who's going to try and do a M36 tank rush over the bridge. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Maybe he's just going to spread those out in alpha.
I think he might just spread them out in alpha, to be honest.
But over in Juliet, it looks like that's where the majority of Razman and Nandemann's forces will build up. Leopard 1 there going to be supporting Razman's Challenger 2 and C2 Mexus. So yeah, I mean, it looks like Hunter and Random know exactly what they're doing in this one, and we will see if they can pull it off, because honestly, I think Razman and Nandemann will panic less the second time round this happens.
Hopefully. I mean, it is a map with 2 spawns as well, which does give them a bit more leeway in defense of the heli rush. But we do see 2 separate heli rushes coming in. We've got the one going to the bottom side and one going to the top side. I mean, I am interested to see these escorts coming in because they are really cool units. I do like the escort, but they're a lot more expensive than Lynx H7s. And we even see a TD coming in as well from Random, the 16 Hellfire, I believe.
Yeah.
Apache, not the fire and forget of the longbow, just the semi-active Hellfire missile, which is still very, very formidable. But I mean, I actually wonder a little bit, but because by having less of them, will that make it easier to counter? I wonder.
Yeah, well, the thing is, this time around, there's a lot less cover on this map in particular. The same thing is, it's interesting though, because the same thing's happening. They are doing a heli rush on a map which has 2 reinforcement sectors. Now, I understand kind of why they're doing it on this map, because it's a lot smaller. It does not take very long at all for the helicopters to fly from here over to the enemy's spawn. And that way, things are going to be wrapped up a lot quicker if this goes to plan. And the thing is, though, because there's 2 reinforcement points, technically the blue side might have enough time to actually put up a defense against this. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. But I mean, it seems we need to really check what kind of AA Random and Nandemann are going to be bringing in at the start.
Well, they have these track rapiers, which are really fantastic for dealing with helicopters in Solway, because they have a very long range, pretty high damage, and they fire pretty damn quickly as well. I mean, there is one thing to think about, and that this map is not particularly great for heli rushing. So that might mean that the Razman and Nande expect it less, which is interesting to think about. I mean, after all, the last game was a standard game, nothing cheesy like this. And really, it's going to definitely be up to Razman and Nande to see if they have if they start off with a fast kind of plane, see if they can catch out some of these helicopters and spot them out first, and then hopefully for them defend it. I mean, I have to say, no matter who wins, if Razman, if Random and Hunter go through, I think I'm going to root for whoever's against them. That's for sure.
Yeah, because
I have a feeling everyone else might do as well, to be honest.
But then again, them using 2 heli rushes in the semi-final, don't you think that like if they went through, that would give the game away in the final, and the team they're playing against would act overly careful the whole way through, which might give an advantage to Hunter and Random. But I think against any person who heli rushes, maybe you should take like an extra couple of AA at the start, maybe sacrifice those points at the start, and maybe cede some ground and then try and take it back later.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way: if Random and Hunter do go through, the next team they play against, either Steel Balaka or RKK, don't prepare for a heli rush. I'd be very shocked, because these guys have been the only team in the entire tournament to do it, which is a bit mean.
No honour.
Dishonourable! A shameful display!
Then again, like I said, it's not breaking the rules, and they are playing
everything is
for
allowed,
a lot of cash.
True.
So
everything is allowed. I don't know. Is the cash worth the friendships they're destroying, though? That's the question.
That is a good point.
That's the question.
We do see a couple Crow Towers on this bottom side covering these tanks. Stormer HVM there as well. Maybe if they see this helicopter push again and they consolidate their AA this time, they would have enough to maybe cut down a lot of these AH-64s, because these AH-64s do have quite a nice amount of health. They have 8 health, and they also have the 1 front and side armor, so they are very hard to deal with. We've also got a lot of those Lynx AH-7s which come with those 68mm rockets, but the Voodoo...
Nande has spotted it with his 45-point Voodoo.
Yeah, let's see, with this heli rush underway, how they react. So again, Nandemann moving all of his troops back to India. Very important, needs to make sure he gets his presence right. Razman is going to be bringing back his AA this time, and it looks like the rest of the infantry is going to continue, which is okay, I believe. But I kind of feel like he needs to get those Crow Towers to head up the road with the Stormer HVM towards India if they're going to start reinforcing at India as opposed to Juliet. So an F8 or 84F coming in. That might get shot down by this track rapier, but those track rapiers are using up a lot of missiles trying to kill that, and that does give away the position of those 2 AA units. The Chieftain Marksman's now coming in, and another track rapier. Those track rapiers will be aiming at these Lynx AH-7s, but it's not going to be a one-shot kill. Even more AA now coming in, and it looks like the India sector will be completely overrun. These M36s absorbing a lot of these rockets though, so a nice job there to get rid of those rockets. But it seems as though the Chieftain Mark 10 has been found in the backside there, and the Chieftain Marksman at spawn is currently sitting in a lot of napalm. So India is more or less completely lost. This Stormer HVM from Razman will be able to shoot down a couple of these escorts, I believe. But now they have to basically consolidate at Juliet and make sure that the same can't happen again there. So let's see exactly what happens as they begin to come down. So Stormer HVM has been taken out, and now it seems these Hachinanashikis are going to hide behind this hill here. Chieftain Marksman getting some nice kills onto the H7s, but the Alpha Jet going to come over and napalm the spawn again. Now these Lynx AH-7s aren't moving in conjunction with the rest of the aircraft, so they are getting picked off very easily at the moment, and it looks like these Alpha Jets might also go down as well. Some more track rapiers or Chieftain Marksmans coming in, and honestly this isn't looking as bad as the last time they got heli rushed. of course, now there is a HQ section in India. It's going to make it very easy for Hunter and Random to get positional advantage onto Nandemann and Razman. But at least they've killed a lot of these helicopters. The Stormers on this road here are actually going to start doing a lot of damage to these helicopters unless the 30mm autocannons can get on target, which it looks like they will do, because the escorts aren't using their rockets either at the moment. Seems that one of them's ran out and the other two just weren't using them. But the Hachinanashiki is making a push back. The TH-495's coming back as well. And I guess there's going to be some reinforcements coming in here to try and defend the HQ section. So far it hasn't ended yet. And it seems as though those AH-64s are not going to continue the push into Juliet. What do you think about this situation?
It's kind of interesting. I mean, this hasn't been anywhere near as successful as it was the last time for Random and Hunter. But unfortunately for Razman, though, he does have a Challenger 2 in Gulf that he was trying to kind of push back to try and get some ground back on behalf of his team. But that's unfortunately completely alone. And even with these Apache escorts and this TD not having any anti-tank missiles left, actually it has one, but the main gun, the 2AP from that M230 autocannon, definitely doing a lot of work.
Yeah, so the Challenger 2 that was in Gulf got taken out, but now they're trying to kill off the infantry CV that was in India, but Hunter did the good job of getting in another CV before that went down, so India is still secure for now, but these Hachinanashikis have a good chance of finding that, and if they do sooner than later, then what they can do is neutralize India and get their foot back into this game.
They can do. I mean, this is definitely the best reply we've seen so far, because obviously the game isn't over yet. But it is still a difficult position to be in for Razman Nandai. I really like them bringing this Chieftain Mark 10 in. They definitely need to countercap this, and there's nothing really better than having a nice command tank in. But I mean, Random and Hunter, something that I think.
Oh, these cannons might spot out that.
They might actually do a very good job, because there's no AA apart from
why have they stopped?
Wolverines I brought in.
They're going to fly over the C2 Mexes. I think the C2 Mexes might shoot it down with the machine gun. The Black Panzer Gepard and the Wolverines come in time. And it looks like they have spotted their location, so maybe an airplane will come out to try and destroy that. Although there is a Laro CO sitting in the back, waiting for this Iltis CP to be destroyed, and then they can replace it. This Chieftain Mark 10 definitely needs to continue to move forwards, though. And I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm surprised they've got so many Crotals and Track Rapiers down in Juliet. Why have they not moved those up with the Chieftain Mark 10? Surely it was pretty obvious that they would reinforce in India, and neutralizing that sector right now is the key to winning this game.
It definitely is. I mean, we've seen a great reply from Razman and Nandai, or at least as well as you really can do in this situation. Just very unfortunate. I think those cartels would have been very well used moving up, but I can understand their trepidation though, because they're obviously fearful that those escorts could have come around to Juliet instead of going up towards India. They do have a Challenger Marksman though, or a Chieftain Marksman should I say, and that 2,800 meter range will do a lot of damage. But Harrier GR7 coming in though to try and knock out the Chieftain Marksman. Yeah,
it's not going to go for that kill, because as soon as the Marksman stops firing... Oh, well, it is actually.
F111C coming in,
but it didn't get
probably
the kill.
Kill the CV here.
Yeah, so the CV going to try and move away probably, but is going to fall prey to that F11C. But now that's just going to get replaced by the Laro CO. As Random brings it back after trying to move it away. But yeah, I mean, this is a bit unfortunate. I think maybe if they'd managed to neutralize India earlier on, then things would have played out a bit differently. And then what would have happened is, I reckon Random or Razman and Nandemann would have been able to hold their side of the river at Hotel and Echo and get that position back, and then for the rest of the game, Hunter and Random would have had the points deficit because of the amount of helicopters they lost. Although a lot of the heavy tanks did go down for Razman and Hunter and Nandemann, didn't they?
They did indeed. I mean, again, like I said before, this is a very, very difficult position to be in if you're Nande and Razman, because they have managed to take control of Echo and Hotel. It's just if they can manage to retake India, then they're in a good position for the rest of this game. But it's not as easy as it sounds. I mean, it doesn't sound easy either, but it's definitely
Well, with
not great.
Hunter and Random both putting points into command vehicles to keep controlling India and Alpha, basically it's up to Razman and Nandemann to keep sniping them enough that they can't bring in another one in time for their units to get there. But again, the Laricio just going to come back, allow another command vehicle to come in. So I think it's decent of Random to notify or notice that they need to maintain their control of India in order to win this game, because they are honestly in a bit of a precarious position. You can see Nandemann is pushing up like these government squads, trying to get some presence in Hotel and Echo if they can continue this game. So I mean, they haven't been just wiped out like they did in the other game. They have definitely played this a lot better.
And they have played it better, but I'm not sure if it is enough. They're at a +4 deficit, and it's just quite unfortunate, really. The that one Leopard C2 Nexus there from Hunter is literally going to stop anything from Razman getting through this left-hand pass into India. And I mean, it's kind of a bit of a what do you do in this situation sort of thing, because they're trying to keep control of Echo and Hotel, because they know that if they can keep control of that and then regain their left-hand side, the game can be theirs. They have a chance.
Looks like that GR7 might go down, but the second GR7 coming in and dropping its bombs immediately onto the Chieftain Marksman. But looks like a lot of those bombs went off target, my god. But either way, down in Juliet, there's a couple of infantry squads that I reckon Nandemann and I could move out of Juliet now. But the AA finally heading up towards India and supporting the small amount of forces up there. Jaguar GR1s are coming in and doing a lot of damage. I mean, they are trying their best here. Nandemann and Razman definitely making a lot of progress, but unfortunately there is that +3 income lead for Hunter and Random, which is putting a timer on Razman and Nandemann's reply into India. Thank God this isn't a destruction game, and controlling more sectors doesn't give you more points, because otherwise then they would be doomed entirely. But because both teams are receiving the same amount of reinforcement points, it is almost allowing Razman and Nandemann to come back. But again, they are on that time limit. They do need to find this next command, otherwise things are just going to end badly.
It definitely is, and not to mention Random's bringing a command into Alpha as well as this. But F1C tries to go over, doesn't drop his bomb though. I wonder what he was trying to target. Maybe
Electric Voodoo did manage to take out one of the radar AAs there. And yeah, the F111C may be targeted instead of fire positioned, because that went straight over the Laricio.
I mean, I think honestly at this point, if you're Razman and Nande, you want to take a page out of the enemy's book and try and get some helis over above India, because they've only got these 2 Wolverines and they have a pretty woeful range against helicopters. But I mean, again, I'm not sure if there's enough time really for them, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the F111C is going to come in this time and actually drop its bombs. Looks like it's going to go into that attack marker though and not hit its target. That's a bit unfortunate. But like you were saying, the use of helicopters would have been nice, because they have been popping those radar AAs with the electric voodoos. So, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but there is always that opportunity while you're playing the game. I mean, this Jaguar's coming over this time, not going to succeed. There's 2 Wolverines with the infrared AA. Jaguar's just going to ignore those and get out of there. But yeah, there's not much chance anymore. I mean, it's too late. They have managed to bring in some big units, the Leopard 2A4 there, the Leopard C2 Nexus, plenty of infantry in this tree line, just going to make it too difficult to push through with ground units. And basically, that means it's going to be a victory for Hunter and Random with a second heli rush from the start of the game.
Yeah, so these guys are pretty scumbag.
Pretty brutal.
What I'm going to say.
It's pretty brutal.
It's very fun to watch, that's for sure. Do you want to go in to try and get some revenge, I suppose? I mean, if they can secure Alpha, they have a chance of not losing on points, but I don't think they can really I'm not sure they could even afford to spend those points, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think it was interesting, this game, because I think at one point there was a chance that they could have killed the CV before a second CV came into India, and then if they'd managed to do that, then Hunter and Random would have been relying on a infantry CV to fly over there in a helicopter, which could have happened, but that was definitely the best chance Razman and Nandemann had to bring back this game, and they've definitely done very well. Kahu there picking off the Leopard 2A4 in India, and they are getting a lot of kills now. It's just unfortunate that they don't have enough time due to this +2 income lead for Hunter and Random. So things are going to end very shortly as the counter does go up to 492 points. They are only 4 ticks away from
There's a
winning
CV
the game.
coming in for Razman to Alpha, but I don't think he'll get there in time.
No, it's definitely not going to get there in time.
Oh, that's tragic. You know what? Random Hunter may have won this game, but I do think Razman has won my heart. Congratulations to them. The kills and deaths very close, as we can see, but unfortunately, that opening heli rush was very brutal.
So anyway, that has been the last of the semi-final matches, and in 13 minutes and 43 seconds, WTF into space do beat Nandemann and continue to the final. So the kills to losses there are very, very close at the end. You can see that Razman and Nandemann put up a really good fight, and they definitely I think reacted a lot better this time round than they did on the Paddyfield map. They played very well, in my opinion, and although it was just unfortunate that another heli rush came round that they weren't necessarily prepared for again. Maybe if it had happened in the second game, well, they would have been out of the tournament if they'd lost it, but I think they were more prepared for it in the second game, and then after like a really close game in the second, I don't think they necessarily expected it in the third. So yeah, that's unfortunate, and I mean it does mean that WTF in space do move on after this best of 3.